Hello, my name is Karenna Gore, and I am here at the Center for Earth Ethics at Union Theological Seminary in New York City, where I work. I want to give you my warm greetings and my heartfelt thanks for inviting me to give a message today. I want to ask permission with gratitude from elders there to speak about World Peace and Prayer Day and the importance of this call from my perspective. And you will maybe notice that I have right behind me a picture of Arvel Looking Horse, who was here actually 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago, at a gathering. It was a ceremonial gathering as well as a conference that was really the force behind us starting this Center for Earth Ethics. And so we actually have that picture of him on our wall all the time. And I thought that it was nice to be able to give you this message from this place and to give at the same time honor and thanks to Orville and to the whole community and lineage and people that he represents, and all of those beings that they have been in relationship with, that prophecy is in relationship with. We have really a lot of respect for that. And what we do at the Center for Earth Ethics is we do work in the intersection between the environment and spirituality. So you might also say ecology or nature or climate. There are lots of different words on the one hand, and spirituality or faith or religion, also morals, ethics. So this is the intersection that we do work in. And we do it in three main ways. We do some education, so we do some classes and workshops. And we also do convenings. We do gatherings and conferences and panel discussions and that kind of thing. And then the third way that we work is we call it movement building. So that's some advocacy work and some organizing work. And so we try to do those things all together. And we've been doing it for 10 years. And so I want to say that I'm really very moved by the message that Orville wrote. And I want to thank Paula as well, of course, who I know and I feel is a very important messenger, and the understanding that I get is in many ways not through one individual or two individuals, but really through something far greater. And so to acknowledge Orville, to acknowledge Paula, and also to say that I do understand that this is coming from a place and a community and a lineage as well. And I am moved by the message of World Peace and Prayer Day. I understand when Orville writes, as the keeper of the sacred pipe, as somebody who's worked alongside indigenous spiritual leaders from all over the world, that when he talks about the seriousness of the condition of Grandmother Earth, that is a very important thing to talk about. In many ways, when somebody says the climate crisis or the planetary emergency or those things, it's their way of saying the seriousness of the condition of Mother Earth. But the way that I understand it from Orville's message is that one thing we can do, and the prophecies say this, is we can go to our sacred sites of prayer. And we can be there in our own ways and have an energy shift towards healing. It makes a lot of sense to me because it seems to me as if this climate crisis is, and let me say also in acknowledging the elders that are there in the gathering with you all at World Peace and Prayer Day, respectfully, I also want to honor my own elders and say that I come from people that I respect, and that includes my grandparents. It includes both of my parents, and to say that my father is somebody whose life's work has really been in this calling to really warn people about a danger that's coming, that will cause a lot of suffering and death. And he has been also trying to work for ways to have a positive vision that we work towards, um, to be that incentive to change our ways. But I want to acknowledge him and say that I've learned a lot in that way, and I'm grateful. I also want to say that this this what they call climate crisis is about more than data and science and technology, as important as those things may be. It is really about relationship and about who we are as human beings. And so when I hear that call to our sacred sites, I hear that actually what needs to be healed is the relationship. The earth does not need fixing, but it is our human beings and our relationship to the earth that needs that healing and work. And so that's what can happen on this day in this way. And I am really grateful that we just had this gathering called Spirit of Place. That was the latest thing that we did as Center for Earth Ethics. And we did that actually in what you call the Hudson Valley, what many people call the Hudson Valley. And so you see, right, the other thing behind me is this map. And our friend Doug Tolchin made this map that is, I have one here, actually reflects that name from Mohican people, from Lenape people, Mohican Tuck. Which is the river that flows both ways, or the waters that are in constant motion for the Hudson River. And so one of the things that's interesting is if you think about bioregions, then you start to think about, instead of state lines, and political lines like that, you think of bioregions, you think of where is our water from? What's our water? What's our soil? What other species do we share this planet with? Or this place, this bioregion with, where's the mountain range? Where does the wind come from? And all of those kinds of things, what things grow really well. And so that's been a really beautiful thing to start to become aware of waterways. Like, for example, the Mohawk River is the main tributary to the Hudson River. So it's all part of the same thing. If something happens in the Mohawk, it's going to start to affect the Mohican Tuck, what we call the Hudson. Mohawk is called Mohawk by everybody. And so learning these waterways is really beautiful. And you look at it, of course, you see it looks kind of like a lung, and of course it is a living body of water, and it comes all the way down to New York City, where we are here. Actually, where I work at the Center for Earth Ethics, and we do go down to the river sometimes. We go down there and we do a little ceremony there and look at the water. And it's like a sacred place for us. So I'm speaking to you here from that consciousness of our sacred site there, and that I have been there, and am thinking about that on World Peace and Prayer Day. And I'm really also understanding the way that knowing one place and really communing with one place can be like a portal to know the whole planet, because we can be in our senses, in our sentience. We can see the way that things, we can see things like the water moving. We can hear things like the birds, or maybe sometimes the cars in the distance too. We hear that. We hear also sometimes we hear things in the distance. Sometimes we hear things close. That's a kind of a sentience that we have. We learn something from that. And we smell things, we touch things. We can feel the wind on our face. It's like a touch from the wind. And so that sentience that we can have in these places is a form of intelligence that is very, very important, And I think it can lead us to conscience. That sentience can lead us to conscience. I think that in this time when there's a lot of faith in technology and they talk about artificial intelligence, I think it's really important for us to understand that these beings in the natural world are relatives, as I have been taught, and so grateful to the teaching of Matakia Oyasin, all my relations. It's so deep and important for people to understand. Thank you for that, sharing that. But these other living beings, the fish, the birds, all of them are much more our relatives than robots or than artificial intelligence algorithms. Um, and I think that our sentience can help us realize that our sentience in these places, and then we can have more conscience because we can understand we're all belonging in the same home together, and start to realize that that relationship can heal, and that there's sometimes unseen factors as well that we can be aware of. And the word spirit sometimes I know can be used to refer to energy, a kind of energy. And I think that that's something that we can be aware of in our sacred sites, in our places where we hear that spirit of place. And so I'm very grateful for the call, for the invitation. I do believe that we can, with this level of intelligence, and with this kind of open heart and mind, we can come to a place of living in balance with nature. We can come to a place where the message will be about not just the seriousness of Grandmother Earth's condition, but my prayer is that it will also be about the healing and the betterness of this condition because of the relationship, because of the care, because of the reciprocity, and us realizing that we can't only take, that we must also give. And so for all of this, I want to again say thank you. I feel very humble in giving this message about Spirit of Place. I send you again my respectful greetings for World Peace and Prayer Day, and I hope you have a really wonderful one. Many thanks.